All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Aaron.
This is our show, Crypto Cosm, where I talk about how astrology affects the crypto market.
I bring you more of that worldly crypto news.
We hope you had an amazing, happy 4th of July here. It was awesome. Good day on Wednesday.
It was hot here.
Woo!
Hot here. 95 and humid, baby.
It was brutal.
95 and humid.
And awesome. Glorious. Great day.
Absolutely. So let's get on with it. We're
show.
actually going to backtrack to some events that have happened just in the last 2 weeks or so. That, we're kind of seeing a couple other things pop up in and around this. But one of the big ones that we've had was Ethereum and
commodity
the S.E.C.
versus
commodity,
Yeah.
security, commodity. What is it? What's the gray area?
Commodity,
So the defining factors,
commodity.
and I know some of you may have had some confusion on this. So let's talk about, just real quick, commodity versus security. A security deemed by the S.E.C. is something that somebody invests money into or capital into that relies on a third party to do something to increase the value of that invested money. So things that are already established like Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're not really requiring a third party to do anything to increase the value of our money. It's only the demand that is increasing because of things that are happening around in the cryptocurrency world. So the S.E.C. has deemed Bitcoin and Ethereum a security. I'm sorry, a commodity.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So what does that mean? I mean, so if it was a security, the S.E.C. would basically put the kibosh on everything and require these exchanges that are selling this to be registered, which would create a bunch of hoops that everybody would have to jump through then to be able to sell, buy, and trade securities. But now we're not having to look at this. Now, we can't say the same thing for ICOs.
Right. Because that's a great territory that it hasn't been developed yet. So they have to go through those hoops in order to get there before they're, deemed this or that.
We're requiring now somebody, a third party, whatever ICO that it is investing, to actually build this product that they say they're going to build and put all this money into. And that's where the rules and restrictions are coming into play, because we don't want to see anybody come into this market, raise $50 million, and then pick up, turn around, and hit the road. That's just not cool, man. That's just not cool. So that's where the securities are coming into play. So there's still a lot of gray area in the ICO world. But as far as Ethereum and Bitcoin and Litecoin are concerned, we're free and clear right now.
Free and clear.
Free and clear.
And that's great, because as well as there are probably the most amount of these tokens are created with the ERC20 token. Mm-hmm. And that being a commodity, saying it's like, okay, good, continue the creation process. We're not going to slow you down. We're not going to hold you up. You've gone through the necessary paperwork, you've done it, go, And that's what we need right now. We needed that kind of green light, like no more holding us back. We're trying to move forward and somebody's grabbing our coattails and wait a minute. And it's like, no, we got to move forward here. And now ERC20, let's talk about that for a quick second too. Is that, in the past 2 weeks here, has gone from, it's floating averaged between 13, 16, hanging at 15 for a little while, and it just boosted to $18.
Jumped up to $18. Now, all the other coins, I mean, let's face it, guys, we're in the red.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing these subtle declines. We're not seeing these big major drops anymore, but everything is still
it's so low. It's hard to.
I mean, it's settling on ground level. We're getting to that point. But Ethereum Classic jumped up 5-6% here now in just the last week or so.
And there's been some buzz that it might be a newcomer on Coinbase.
And Coinbase has even mentioned the fact of Ethereum Classic coming to the platform. Now, if anybody out there has actually done research on what's the next coin, Coinbase is, everybody's always looking for what the big hype is going to be around Coinbase. I mean, there have even been screenshots where there are portions of support that are found for Ethereum Classic.
It's like when that happens, I mean, you're right. It's like you're opening Pandora's box there. You're like, we see it. You can't close this back up and pretend, the public blind eye to it.
And one of the big reasons for Ethereum Classic now coming out, because Ethereum is now safe, Ethereum Classic is safe as well. So it's a surefire. They're not going to have any trouble with the law or rules or regulations or anything additional to set up. And they're just going to have to set up support for that additional coin.
Yeah.
So really, it's an easy add. But the interesting thing about that is now that we're going to be adding a coin on Coinbase worth 18, let's say it was today, it would be $18.
Still, the next up is $83 or $85, wherever Litecoin is at this exact moment. It's right around there. So it's like, well, now I know a lot of people who were when they were first getting into the crypto world, they were when they looked at Coinbase, and they're like, wow, there's Bitcoin for thousands, there's Ethereum over here for hundreds, and then there's Litecoin for, $100, less than $100, give or take, $100. Everyone went to Litecoin. Even with Bitcoin being like the mecca that it is, so many people were like, it's already so expensive. I'm gonna put my money, because I'm not a whale. I'm a little fish. Like respectfully knowing and where their place was in the financial world. A lot of people are gonna be very interested in a $18 coin when the next up is $80, $100, $500, $700, $6,000.
That's a big gap. There's a huge misconception on the mass population, especially coming into this. They're like, $10,000 a Bitcoin. Oh, I can't buy a Bitcoin.
Right.
That's
no. And why buy a portion of something? I'm not going to buy one tire for a car and not get the rest, or just get the engine and not the transmission. You need the whole thing, right? No, you don't.
No, actually, you could buy 1/100,000,000th of a Bitcoin if you so choose.
6 pennies. I took 6 pennies, invested in 2009 into Bitcoin.
I got a hay penny. I was a millionaire. No. But that's a big misconception that individuals have. You can buy any portion to the 100,000,000th of a coin that you want to purchase. I think most actual trading exchanges limit it to like 0.00001 or something
if you only
like that.
had
It's normally like $10 or $20.
Right, you get $20 and you're throwing it at Bitcoin. If you did it last week when Bitcoin was 5,000 and now it's $1,000 more, well, you would
doubled up. I mean, that's 100.
Not doubled up, but
doubled. 500 now to 1,000. That's doubled up.
We're 5,000 to 6,000. That's only $1,000.
Oh, 5,000 to 6,000. My apologies.
We figured it out. We got that under. Yeah.
But we're looking at, within 1 year spans of Bitcoin history, we're looking at, earlier we've seen in 1 year 42 times gain, 44 times gain, 23 times gain,
1,000% gain.
And it's like now we're getting to that point where, okay, well, what's actually coming next? We're floating right around $6,000. An article that was let out by Bloomberg Report was that if Bitcoin reached its max capacity for all M1 fiat currency, paper currency floating around, which is about, $4.3 trillion or so, Bitcoins would max out at $223,000 per Bitcoin. So the scale or the room of growth, now keeping in mind that Bitcoin's dominance is 30% of the market. So if we chop that into 3, we're looking at about $75,000 per Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, oh, it's too late. Oh, it's too late.
You're coin's $6,000 right now and then it turns into $75,000. It's not too late. It's really not.
That's still times 15 your money. Over the course of, the next couple of years, it's going to be amazing to see where's that line going to be between the paper money and digital money, and how fast are we going to get there?
And how quickly it's. This is an interesting thing we looked at, and it was adding the 0 to the right every 2 years of Bitcoin. So 2009 it was 0, 2011 it was 10, 2013 100, and then 2015 1,000, 2017 10,000. Are we going to add that extra 0 here, 2018, 2019, to that $100,000 mark? And that's interestingly enough, that was something that was discussed in December last year. And that was part of the craze that drove the market. Bitcoin will hit $100,000. I remember reading that article. It will hit $100,000, and this is why. We have all of the TAs and all of, the facts of why this is going to hit $100,000 before January 1st of 18.
It was a
So
media hype fest.
that has already passed. Clearly, we didn't even get over, the 20 is right where it's at and right back down.
$19,920. I think we topped out.
Right. And it's like, yeah, we did not even come close to that 100K. But that doesn't mean it's not coming in the foreseeable future. Which is interesting. And some more like good things have opened up across the sea here. Just this morning, South Korea has opened the doors. Now, this has been going on for a few years. This is a really interesting thing. They wanted to create the rules and regulations necessary for crypto to become a more standardized unit of trade, okay, for services for the big companies as well as, the individuals. The reason they have not done this is because they were afraid that people like yourself and myself, the general public, once the government has signed off on these regulations, that they're afraid that the average person would view it as the government legitimized it. They don't want you to think they legitimized it, which is an interesting...
Why?
Right. It's an arbitrary holdback or setback. It's like... So we're going through these hoops. We're unlocking the door, going through it. We're building and constructing all these things necessary to move forward with this new currency, and you're holding it back because you don't want people to think the government is legitimizing it. And I have to say that we are in a similar boat here. Okay, these are arbitrary limitations. They're holding us back. And again, I'm the astrology guy. Mars, in this past 2 weeks, has started its retrograde cycle, okay, in Aquarius, where things are just stopped. They're moving forward, but are they moving forward? It's like this weird, it's like this tug of war here. Like Aaron and I are playing tug of war, invisible tug of war over the middle of the table, right where the line is.
It's my table.
Right. So it's like there's this invisible bear bull tug of war happening, and the flag is going blip, 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 blip. Which side is it teetering on? And we're all watching it, with eyes like this, like where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go? And eventually,
all that indecision.
Right. It will be pulled in one direction, but we have to go through these. We have to just step through all this stuff at the same time, and with the planet associated with the acceleration of how we move forward, and it being in the sign of technology right now, and it's retrograde, meaning it's perceivably moving backward from Earth's perspective. It happens once every 2 years, all right? This is not a favorable... It's not that it's unfavorable. It's necessary for this to happen in the sign that it's happening in. Again, the technology community, that's the epitome of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mars being in there right now, retrograde, is still, it's like bringing an eye to like, pay attention to the technology that's happening, pay attention to the community that's involved in, and pay attention to what we are moving forward, because we're not ready to move forward yet. And that's exactly what South Korea is doing right now. We're there, but we're really not ready to move forward. South Korea is retrograde right now with Mars up there, and seriously.
South Korea is moving backwards.
But no, but no, they're moving forward. Everything's moving forward. And let's take another little look at this. We've just seen, just this year alone, the borders of South and North Korea become blurred. All right, Kim Jong-un there's been a lot of progress with that, and it has been one of the last big, North Korea countries it's this mysterious world to the U.S. Yeah, a lot of back and forth. So the fact that this wall is kind of coming down, and we're seeing, through it, we're becoming more transparent, and these powers are now playing ball with each other. That's going to be good. That means, so South Korea is opening up to more crypto, which means North Korea, if they're on the same playground right now. It's going to spread to that world. It just will. And more is coming, just everywhere. I don't know. It's all good.
And we saw a big switch of the Korean exchanges kind of segregate to only Korea. I mean, it was kind of like OKX. It was only in Japan. You know what I'm saying? There's certain exchanges out there that are just primarily for those users set up for their regulations and things like that, because their governments were blocking off, other things. So now that we get to blur these lines, we get more population in the different markets, and we're going to see, hopefully, some increased price here down the line.
Speaking of increased price, there is some good astrology stuff coming up here. It's starting next week, starting on the 9th. So right now we have, Venus and Mercury, our planet of money and our planet of trading goods and services, are both in Leo right now, right? Creative self-expression, kind of playing through the ego and all this. Fire sign. Well, Venus is the first one of these personal planets to move into Virgo, okay? Earth sign.
The water bear.
9th, that moves in on the 9th, okay? But on the 7th, it starts making a very harmonious aspect. Now, when we talk about Saturn on the show, it's like, oh, Saturn, and it's like there's always a squeeze. Right, there's always like a,
I don't like it.
Man. Right, it's like, pop quiz, everybody. You know, you're like, man, Mr. Saturn is always giving us tests and all this stuff, you know. Anyway, so he's doing good up there. He's doing good up in his home sign of Capricorn, all right? We have these structures and these changes need to be done. So, Venus, our planet of money,
I like money.
on the 7th is going to start forming a very favorable aspect to Saturn in Capricorn and to Uranus in Taurus.
So you said favorable and Saturn in the same sentence.
In the same sentence, which means, so now it's good structuring of money, all right? The hard kind of stuff that we've been going through for the past few weeks is kind of coming to a resolve. The new moon is a big deal. This eclipse, it's a weak eclipse, but it's a really powerful new moon. As it's, you know, new moon is moon and sun over here in Cancer at 20 degrees in Cancer, okay? Pluto is up here 20 degrees in Capricorn. The exact opposite. Mm-hmm. So, and which is all about transformation, you know. So we have a new moon, new beginnings, transformation, and then we have right then, which I didn't touch upon that yet. Venus is entering, like I said, Venus is entering Virgo to make that awesome aspect to Saturn and Uranus. So what does that mean? Money planet is moving into an Earth sign. Saturn is up there in Capricorn, the governmental Earth sign, and Uranus is over there in our valuables, possession, the things that we own, and money, okay? So it's like the restructuring and the breakthroughs of money, and now we have Venus, the money planet, coming in, again, forming that grand trine. So there's like that grand water trine and the grand earth trine happening at the same time. Water and earth creates life. There is good stuff coming in this next week here, leading up to the 25th is going to be a really intense.
Well, let's talk about some of that transformation. Yeah. So some of the things that we're seeing now, Coinbase, and we were talking about that earlier, but they've done so much for the cryptocurrency space, now has Coinbase custody live. Coinbase custody. What is Coinbase custody? Mm-hmm. So I think we've mentioned it before in previous shows, but Coinbase custody is meant for institutional investors, big money. I'm talking minimum $10,000, otherwise hit the road. So Coinbase custody is now live in the U.S. Before the end of the year, 2018, they're going to be looking at hitting Europe, and they want to hit Asia. And their mission, and I quote, is to reach out and be accessible to every major financial institution and be the easiest exchange for cryptocurrency to use.
Well, that's interesting. Didn't you just recently get a Ethos wallet?
I did.
So let's talk about, I don't want to jump off too much of what you were just talking about, but as my memory is sparking, this ease of use and there's a lot of sizzle words that happen with Ethos, and then you're the first person I know that has it, so why don't you...
So Ethos is available in the Netherlands, Germany, Australia. I just got the email on the 4th. Actually, I got it on the 5th. I saw it the morning after, but now available in the U.S. So Ethos, quote unquote, the universal wallet. Supposedly you can add any coin to this. And in the back of my head, I'm like, that sounds great. But just like all of the other wallets that are out there now, I mean, each wallet specifically has to program something for that wallet to be accessible on their utility. So I was a little disappointed when I only saw 100 coins on the compatibility list for Ethos. So Ethos has a myriad of different features and stuff like that, but we're only in version 1 right now. So they just got done with their beta. They're releasing their they're now live, and the features that they have talked about over the last year are extremely limited.
They're just not there.
They're just not there yet. Like, we don't have our the crypto cards, or they haven't mentioned anything. The airdrops aren't coming out yet. I mean, and even the list of 100 coins, I was a little disappointed. I'm like, where's Cardano? Where's Lisk? Where's the other platform coins that, I mean, my goal was to be able to put all of my coins into one wallet. And that was its noun de plume. It's big thing. The reason probably why it went to $13 in December or January, and now it's back down. I mean, once it was released in all these companies, it's right at about $1.80. Now, 2 days ago, when it was released in the U.S., it jumped up to $3. I saw the jump, but I didn't see the email till after, and then it dropped right back down again. So we doubled in price overnight and then went straight back down. And there's been a lot about 200% between $1.80 and $4. Really, Ethos has fluctuated. But I'm really going to be watching it, and as soon as more of these powerful features are coming out, we're going to put together a little video and demo that.
And I hope they do. I hope they follow through. Now, I can easily say, and this show is firsthand. When Aaron and I first started the show, if you've ever seen the very first episode, we were still figuring out exactly what we were going to do. We knew we had the idea. And we had the content, but we're not sure how the delivery method was going to come about. And we were going to have a laptop, and we were going to show you, there's maybe green screen behind us, and there was going to be this and that. And then as the show developed, we realized, no, this is not about being behind a computer. You can be behind the computer. You can do your own research. That's not what this is about. This is about, more information and kind of a talk show about it. We don't need to read something in black and white to you. You're very capable of doing that on your own. This has evolved from what its original to what it is now. I mean, it's still on par to what we had hoped, but me stating all that is like, I wonder if Ethos is actually going to, are they really going to follow through and commit and say this is going to be still everything is on here? Because everybody's goal is to have every coin. And like Aaron said, well, if that's your goal, but you have to wait to do the same tasks just like everyone else does to eventually add one on this week or one on this month and then another one this week.
Well, then you better have an entire team back there that's working on the grindstone with that,
and communicating to the public that what's happening, when's it going to come out, when can we expect this stuff? Because we were expecting what we were expecting. Expectation versus reality. Mm-hmm. Right? These are two very, very different things. And this is a world right now where we can get so far ahead of ourselves in our own dream world of when Moon, when Lambo, and all of this stuff that we forget the cold, hard reality, Well,
it happened that fast in the movie.
It did. And I just saw this 14-year-old kid over there.
That's why I don't read the book. It takes too long. We don't need that.
Don't listen to that. Read the book, please read.
Some people, what can I say? But, I mean, there's so much coming with the new infrastructure in place. It's going to be fantastic. I think the next couple of months are going to open up a new era.
It's true.
It's going to be like the realization of steel. I mean, like individuals could only build houses so high because the materials that we're using, they were collapsed. They could only go, 2 stories high. That was it.
And that's what Saturn is for. It's to restructure. What is Capricorn? Government.
It's
Taurus,
beautiful.
money.
We're going to have some
breakthroughs.
Big money. I mean, we're talking electronic transfer funds, and I think personally, because of these new developments coming out, bringing in institutional money, the institutional money is going to migrate towards. At least it's going to start off in like the top 10. It's going to be the Litecoin, the Bitcoin, like the things on Coinbase that those universal coins are going to become so much stronger. But then because of that, it's going to trickle down. But I think it's going to. I mean, we know they have a correlated effect. I mean, if you guys look on CoinMarketCap and the graphs on the side of the page, right next to Bitcoin, and then you have everything else, and almost. I mean, to a T, when Bitcoin has sharp moves, everything else is going to follow. I mean, cryptocurrency, we need Bitcoin for everything else. We don't have Bitcoin, we don't have everything else.
We need to have the faith too, man. Like this bit of tug of war that's happening. There's a lot of people that we've talked to that are just like, it's done, it's dead. It's like, that's perfect. If you want to think that, that's fine. But like, really,
give me your money.
No, it's just like, again, so you can't plant a seed and expect to, the fruit-bearing tree, but you don't water it. You don't pay attention to it. You're not, giving it the appropriate sun and the water that it needs. You have to tend to your garden. And that's all this is. It's like you can't just plant this thing and be like, well, where's my watermelon tree?
I know.
Do watermelons grow on trees? Anyway, but you know the point.
Oh, wow.
But they're little vines. But you know what I'm saying. You have to have faith in something and give it time. This is so new, so breakthrough and revolutionary that it has to have time, and we have to be really firm in our convictions of why and not be a weak hand, man. This is not a place for weak hands right now.
Real quick, we're getting ready to wrap it up here, but real quick, we talked about expectation versus reality, and if we take a look at our previous standard investing options, I mean, you're talking maybe, if you're lucky, 5 to 6% a year per year, and IRAs, stock, things like that. Now the cryptocurrency market is like 10 times faster,
and the risk to reward is also 10 times greater.
10 times greater. Yeah. I mean, we're talking the capabilities of making. What did Ripple do? The one you're 69,000% from 2016 to 2017. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So, yes, but we still need to water. We still need to tend to that garden, but it doesn't happen overnight.
It's true.
It might take a week, or
a few months.
But it does take some time. But compared to what we've gone before, I mean, it seems light years ahead.
Oh yeah, we're there. And actually, I want one more thing before we wrap it up. Dorado, we had done a little ICO review, a white paper ICO review on Dorado a few months back. They are officially out. They are on CoinMarketCap right now. When we first did the review of it, it was floating around 9-11 cents, somewhere around there. 10 would be right in the middle. They're out. It's floating at 3.5 cents-ish right now, and they're about to do a coin burn, which I just received an email from them letting me know that, and they're burning a good chunk of coins. Personally, I think it's a cool company. It's that drone food delivery thing.
And everything. That's going to be big.
That's going to be a very big aspect of the future. I think it's awesome, and the fact that it's 3 cents right now and they're about to do a coin burn.
Fire sale, baby.
That's my gift to you. Yeah,
Fire sale.
Kind of cool.
Check it out. Always do your own research. Looking forward to seeing how that one goes.
All right, Aaron, take it away.
Let's do that true wisdom card of the day. If you guys are interested in these, it's a playing deck with a bunch of amazing quotes. The link is down in the bottom of the description. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. One more time. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little notification button down at the bottom of the screen so you don't miss a beat.
On Crypto Cosm.